Dear Jewel, I left you with a few things to always hold on to. Loyalty, elusiveness, and brute force. If you remember these lessons, you will survive. If anyone can, it's you. Love you always, Dad.
Xbox One S, starting at $299.
And of course, the big release, Of course, is what?
Wow.
Mr. Robot Season 2 is...
Are you okay?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Bingewatch, your go-to weekly show for everything to do with movies, TV shows, and of course, stream-friendly entertainment. I am Lost Apologist, Lucy James, it's the best show ever made, joined by Elite Hacksaw, Dave Dewitt.
Hello.
And One Punch Man, Tamor Hussein.
Hello.
Now guys, we're here to discuss the biggest goings-on in the world of entertainment, and boy, we're coming right off the back of Star Wars Celebration, so do we have some stuff to talk about?
So the biggest news from Star Wars Celebration is a mega spoiler bomb dropped by actor Jiang Wen, who plays a character called Baze Malbus.
Nice.
So he pretty much ruined the movie by accident. But since we're not dark side jerks, we're not going to talk about that at all.
Well, I'm a dark side jerk, but
we're not going to talk about that at all, Lucy.
I'm not a spoiler.
What we will talk about is the casting of young Han Solo for a spin-off movie.
Alright, I'll give you like £5 if you can say his name properly.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich.
So that's the guy who is going to be playing the iconic smuggler in his younger days. You might have seen him last in the Coen Brothers' Hail Caesar. He's also been in...
Hail Caesar?
Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar. Kind of similar. He's also been in Stoker and Blue Jasmine and the TV series Supernatural, which I love.
Supernatural apologist over here.
That's me. He was picked from 3,000 potentials. That's a lot of young
That's
Han
a lot of
Solos,
potentials.
yeah.
But wasn't he like the first one to audition?
I think so.
I mean,
I'm
I just
not
feel like
sure.
you've wasted the time
Yeah.
of all 2,999 potentials.
So he showed up as a surprise at Star Wars Celebration, and said he was very excited about playing the character. He got
You'd
to be,
hope so.
Yeah, and he got to be on the Millennium Falcon. So I'm not surprised that he's excited. So, are you familiar with him? Do you think he's a good actor or choice for this? The other actors, just to kind of give you a heads up, that were potentials were Miles Teller.
Not quite my tempo.
Exactly. Dave Franco, who I'm well up for after his Scrubs
I wouldn't be able to take
appearances.
that Han Solo seriously.
Scott Eastwood. It's high noon.
Hang on. I was like, wait, hang on. No, I'm not entirely familiar with him. I'm kind of glad they're not picking someone as like a super famous person like a Dave Franco, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to see Han in him. I'd only be able to see the guy from Scrubs or 21 Jump Street. Although Miles Teller could be good, but I think at the minute he's Jennifer Lawrencing in that he was really good in one thing and now he's in everything.
Count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference.
So I'm kind of glad they've gone with more of an unknown.
I would have taken Franco purely because I like him.
You love Franco.
I do love him. He's a beautiful man. But also he's got like comedic chops, I feel like.
He's
he can
got
do
the
that.
smirk.
He's got the roguish charm as well. Like, and he's in Scrubs. Like, I keep bringing him up in Scrubs, but he's just so funny.
Just picture him standing next to Chewbacca with a blaster and a vest.
Kinda
though.
just-
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You find that clip from Scrubs because it's the best.
Getting editing notes over here.
The anthology movie, which is a spin-off in the same vein as Rogue One, doesn't have a name yet, but it starts shooting in early 2017, and it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who you may know from the awesome Lego Movie.
Which is, although, now that's why Lego Movie 2 has been delayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's fine with me. Although, you know, I hope that everything is awesome in the Han Solo movie. So some more Star Wars news from Celebration this weekend. This one kind of went a little bit under the radar, but I think it is super cool. And the more I've read into it, the cooler it kind of becomes. Is that there's going to be a Darth Vader, not a movie. It's going to be a story experience in virtual reality.
Not the killer app.
Not the killer app, but it's being made by ILM X Lab. I think that's how you kind of say. So it's all these technical wizards from Industrial Light and Magic. You've got sound people from Skywalker Sound, and you also have people from Lucasfilm. You also have Magic Leap, who are like one of these crazy Silicon Valley-esque companies that seem to have a buttload of capital despite never having actually released anything. But what they've worked on before with Lucas is they've released this kind of like augmented reality thing where you can have like 3PO and R2 in your living room, which looks really cool. So they're all working together to make a Darth Vader, like, let's just say movie for short. But it's being written by David S. Goyer, who has some good writing chops. Flash forward.
Yep.
He's also done like Nolan's The Dark Knight. He's
Yep.
done
That's chops.
That's chops.
COD Black Ops.
Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, they all had to die.
We wanted Steiner alive. Why did you have to kill him?
Because the numbers were telling me to. Why don't you fucking understand?
I maintain
Semi-chops.
Semi-chops. Yeah.
I maintain that game was great.
Yeah, that was a good story.
And Batman vs Superman, but let's not talk about that. But he's doing a Darth Vader sort of some kind of story. Don't know what it's going to be, but it is going to add to the canon, and you are going to be a visitor to the story, and you can make subtle changes. I don't know how deep these changes are going to be, but do we not think, right, of all the characters in all the Star Wars universe, everything, Vader, has it not been done? You know what I mean?
I kind of feel like he has been done, and at the same time, I feel like he's the only person you can do for something like this. Like, do you really want to? They've got to go for a big name character, right?
Yeah.
To sell. Firstly, it's on VR, which is kind of uphill struggle as it is. The only way you give yourself a fighting chance is by putting in a character that people know and love.
Yeah, no one's
Yeah.
going to buy the Plo Koon
Yeah.
VR experience.
How would you like to be immersed in virtual reality with Jar Jar Binks?
Hey, I would love that.
I'm sure you would.
Well, he's the only impression that I can do.
Yeah, no, don't do it. So yeah, but so it makes sense for them to pick Vader, and also if you want to have an interesting virtual reality experience, you get the angriest, most unstable character, or one of them anyway.
I was gonna say you got Kylo Ren
Yeah,
now.
Kylo
He's
Ren,
messing up the joint. But what's interesting is it is kind of quite gamey. It's from the sounds of it. They're keeping stuff on so down low at the minute, so you can pick up things, you can examine things like LA Noire, like you can push stuff, you can walk around. As I said, you can make subtle changes to the story. But also what it's going to be is it's going to be like a fully persistent world with like day-night cycles. And the world is kind of going to continue when you're not there.
It's worrying.
Which is kind of cool.
Sounds-
And there's going to be
big.
weather.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of come to this every time there's a VR discussion. Is VR the future of storytelling? Are you guys intrigued by the fact you can make your mark on Star Wars?
I'm intrigued, but when you said there's like a game element, all I imagined was like an operation style game where you're plugging in bits of Darth Vader when he's like actually becoming all armored and plugged into stuff, and then when you touch the sides, it just goes buzz, and you can like customize his armor or something. See him rock around A New Hope in like bright pink armor. It's not going to happen for me though, is it?
Well, they have just released like a free VR kind of experience where you have a lightsaber. So I feel like that kind of element could be cool.
Yeah, it could be. Like, I don't know. They'd have to be very short experiences. I don't know how much of an interesting story or memorable story you can tell in, 5-10 minute chunks or whatever. Who knows? This seems like a maintenance game. I don't mind a maintenance Vader game. Keep
It's not really a
cleaning
game
his
though,
armor.
it's an experience. It's a
Whatever
storytelling
you say.
experience. I think it's cool.
So our Game of Thrones news comes from a quite interesting source today. Benioff and Weiss were speaking on a UFC Unfiltered podcast. And they let spill a couple of things. And a UFC podcast, it seems a random place to start dropping truth bombs. But they said apparently they cut out a major battle scene from season 1. And it sounds really interesting from what they were saying. Apparently the scene featured Tyrion and the Mountain going into battle, but the Tyrion was following the Mountain, and it was all shot at his eye level.
That would have been cool.
So you got to see basically what the dwarf sees, the towering 7-foot something mountain, and just looking up at him, seeing all the carnage. But apparently they ran out of money, and they did mention that it's kind of bittersweet because it would have paled in comparison to like Battle of the Bastards. But you're a resident book nerd, and you said it was actually quite an important battle in the books.
Yeah, because the way they did it in the TV show is it's the one where Tywin forces Tyrion to be a part of the army. It's where he meets Shay, it's where he meets Bronn, and he's in the army and he's on the battlefield, but he gets knocked out and that's kind of a bit of a cop-out because you don't actually see anything. Whereas in the book, he fights, he actually manages to take a couple people down. He does follow, he was told he was actually going to lead the vanguard, but actually it's Gregor Clegane, the mountain, who takes charge, and he's sort of following him in. So to be able to shoot it from that perspective and see the mountain, like just ripping people to shreds, while you've got all the clan army, like they're kind of like wildlings, but they already live south of the wall. That would have been so cool. And I'm actually, like, discovering this now, I'm kind of sad they didn't do it and they just copped it out. The wait is finally over, guys. The second season of Mr. Robot is finally making its way online in dribs and drabs. So we've got the first 2 episodes up on Amazon Prime for us to watch right now.
Yep.
But if you guys at home haven't seen the first season, don't have enough time to watch it, and want to get caught up, then Dave has put together an incredible recap of season 1, isn't that right?
Well, you were there as well.
I was there too.
So yeah, we kind of there's a lot going on in Mr. Robot. There's a lot of twists, a lot of plot lines to follow. So I couldn't remember half of them before I even started thinking about watching season 2. So we kind of recapped them all, and it's a perfect way to prep for season 2. So go and watch that. Yeah,
so you can find that. I'll put a link below. There's also, we're going to be watching the first couple episodes, reacting to them, like just digging in deep, like we love to do. You guys have seen us do Game of Thrones, so we're going to be doing quite a similar thing for Mr. Robot, so make sure you stay tuned to youtube.com/GameSpot. But that's it for this week on Bingewatch. Please let us know in the comments below what you're watching, what you're loving, what you're streaming. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Lucy James Games.
I'm at Irregular Dave.
And I'm at Tomor H.
And we'll see you next week.